The honorary degree will now be conferred. Mr. President, will you present the honorary degree candidate, Janine Fuller?
Mr. Chancellor, Canadians cherish their right to freedom of expression, yet it is a fragile right and often depends for its survival on the courage of the individual. Today, we honor one such person, Janine Fuller, an author and bookseller who has courageously fought to ensure that this fundamental freedom is protected for all Canadians. Janine Fuller once said, "Nothing hard is ever won easily. We must be ever vigilant and inclusive in our struggles." For more than a decade, she has stayed true to her words. As manager of the Little Sisters bookstore and art emporium, she has been the catalyst in an historic legal battle against censorship in this country. Since 1990, she has spearheaded successive legal challenges mounted by Little Sisters against Canada Customs and its use of arbitrary standards in prohibiting admission into Canada of materials deemed to be obscene. Indeed, this case has become of paramount importance in the development of Canadian free speech jurisprudence. In her sustained effort to end censorship of gay and lesbian literature and thus ensure unfettered access to ideas by all Canadians, Janine Fuller, together with her colleagues at Little Sisters, has taken enormous personal risk. Her struggle has consumed energy, time, and resources. Without doubt, there were times when it would have been far easier to quit. But fortunately for all of us, she continued and continues to place principle ahead of the bottom line. Her far-sighted leadership provides much of the impetus to this selfless task. And we are indeed glad that she has persevered, for the gains made by Little Sisters have benefited all Canadians. Mr. Chancellor, Janine Fuller has engaged in a long and heroic struggle against injustice, braving daunting obstacles to the intellectual freedoms so important in the pursuit of truth and knowledge. For her commitment to these democratic principles, she has received numerous honors, including the Doug Wilson Award from the University of Saskatchewan and the Vancouver YWCA Woman of Distinction Award. Like all academic communities, we at Simon Fraser hold dear these freedoms and the champions who defend them. It is fitting, therefore, that today we recognize the valiant efforts made by one Canadian to uphold the rights of all. Mr. Chancellor, I ask now, on behalf of the Senate of this university, that you confer upon Janine Fuller the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Janine Fuller, by virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Ms. Fuller will be hooded by Dr. Bill Crane, Associate Vice President, Academics.
It is with pleasure that I now call on Dr. Janine Fuller for her convocation address.
Thank you very much. This is an incredible honor, not one that I ever expected to find myself in, as someone who never actually got a university degree or actually never really graduated from high school. To be standing here in front of all of you is rather daunting. But exceptionally inspiring because of having the opportunity to see people who are graduating, who have been committed to their studies and their work in this glorious setting of SFU, being honored by the academics who have achieved so much in their research and their work, and also being around people who are going to be the writers and the generation of tomorrow's ideas and the graduates of those ideas. I'm just so honored to be in your presence and to be witnessing your big day. I'm also very honored to have my friends in the audience, the small group of people with all black shoes. And my family, my brother and my father are here from Toronto. Nothing happens in a vacuum, as everyone here knows. Everyone who is out there, who's part of our families, all of the achievements, everything we do is part of our friendships, is part of our families, and it is the development through those people that have brought me to this place. Working at Little Sisters, and certainly working with Jim and Bruce and Mark at Little Sisters, and everyone who is part of the Little Sisters team, old and new, have been tremendously important people to me. And I don't stand at this platform without them with me, and so many other people. Free speech does not come in this country without a lot of people working, and BC Civil Liberties has been a tremendous supporter of our court case. But free speech is something that needs to be nurtured, and it's something that we, as all Canadians, can never take for granted. And it's something that we can't just assume that just because one group of people has their liberties, that other people's liberties aren't in jeopardy. And until all people have the kind of free speech and the kind of visibility to be part of this world and in this world, I think we all have to commit ourselves today, at this moment, to that struggle and to those people. Our community, the gay and lesbian community, transgendered, bisexual community, many years ago, I wouldn't even be standing at this platform speaking those words, but here I am, and I celebrate this honor with that community because they have worked so hard in the courts to become the people we are, to have the visibility of who we are, and also to earn the respect at tremendous financial costs for our community over the years. I have to say, on a personal note, which I rarely ever talk about, but I'm going to say it today because I think it's really important. I am developed in my life through who I am by my family, and my family have a long history of a genetic disease called Huntington's disease. And for anyone who knows what it is, it's a disease that your brain deteriorates and you eventually die. And most people would say, oh, what a horrible legacy that your entire family has to live with this burden of what that disease has been. But in some ways, that burden has been lifted in a strange way by the knowledge of it, with the genetic research around Huntington's that's going to be offered to all of you in your life. You're going to have to make important decisions about your health and about the information and how that information gets used. And I think everyone out here, as we move into genetic research so much, needs to be really informed and aware of what the consequences of that knowledge is. Well, I am part of the consequence of that knowledge. I am part of the history of Huntington's disease. My mother died of Huntington's disease. My older brother, who's only 2 years older, has had Huntington's for over 20 years. It's certainly a disease I also carry, and it's part of my history and part of my future. But I was talking to my brother a while ago, and my brother that's in a home now, and he said to me, he had found some new drugs that had started to make him feel better. And he said, you know, Janine, it's so great. I've got these new drugs, and I'm not like having hallucinations, and I really feel great. And this is my brother, who is like a marathon runner, who can't hardly walk, who can't do any of the things that he could do in his life, telling me that life is great. And I just thought at that moment, when maybe I was feeling a bit disheartened about the court case and Little Sisters and all those battles, it just made me sink back and think, I am so lucky, I am so fortunate, and I truly am so blessed to have such wonderful people in my life who have really made my life complete, and it will continue to be that. I think censorship is something that we as a community have fought forever, and I think it's something that we will continue to fight. And as I look into the next election and I look onto the front pages of the Globe and Mail and I see the potential of a very right-wing kind of sensibility in this country, we have to really be the caretakers of what free speech is in this country. And you are all the caretakers of free speech. You have a big burden to carry, but you will carry it so well and with such dignity. I'm so proud of all of you. I'm so proud of all the people who are part of my community and my family, and I'm just so honored and blessed to be here at SFU, being awarded something that I never thought I would ever be awarded. When the president called me and said he wanted to talk to me, I thought he wanted us to donate money. I'm like, okay, do you think we could donate money? Yeah. Thank you so much for this honor. I really, truly, truly appreciate it. It means so much to me, but it's an honor that I take back and I share with my community, all of my community, and all the diversity of who they are, and we will all enjoy it together. Thank you very much.